Hey guys, Sweet here. Today we're going to look at train signals for the Create mod. We're using Create version 0.5 and we're on Minecraft version 18.2. And as you can see here, I've created a kind of test track in my creative world to better explain how train signals work. This is also where I create a lot of builds for different schematics which show up in my survival world. But I wanted to create this setup here to give a more realistic example of how train signals can be used, how they work. And what I've done here is kind of created some congestion on purpose. We have two trains going in a circle here, intersecting with this larger track, and it's created kind of a standstill here because we have this train, which is waiting for that train, which is waiting for this train, which is waiting for that train, and we're stuck in a loop. So, if you don't know how train signals work, basically a train signal is this little box here. You can have the Nixie tube as an option. I like to have it so I can actually see what's going on. And by placing a signal down, you're basically telling a train that you don't want it to pass this point unless the next part of the track is clear. Now, each signal you place is only for one direction, so this signal is for this direction, going towards that train over there. And you can have signals going in both directions of one track, but I'm not going to show this now. So if we follow this track, you'll see that we have a train here, and that's causing the red signal. The train is stopped at this signal because of the next train over there. And you can see that it also covers this signal, and that as well is causing that signal to be red. So since it overlaps, it's causing multiple signals to be red here. You can also see where the signals are. So you can actually go over here and we can look at this signal. So you see this signal, you can see the green line. This green line is going to continue all the way to the signal here. And now you can see it's blue. The blue line continues to the signal here. And then we have a new green line, which continues all the way to the signal here. And under there, you can see a orange line. This orange line is also part of this signal system. So all of those signals are actually telling you about this line here. So that's something, you'll get these lines as soon as you switch to the train signal box, and that's something really useful. So to clear this problem we have here, we could set up a signal here, and we'll just click on the track like so, place a signal box, and a Nixie tube on top, and that'll allow that train to move, which will allow this train to move, which will allow that train to move, and that train to move. And now we can also go ahead and, just to keep the symmetry here, we can go ahead and do the same thing on the other side as well, like so. And we'll put another one on there. And now we've cleared up the congestion by placing more signals. However, more signals is not always the answer. I've actually created another bottleneck on purpose, so if we let these trains run for a little while, you'll see that eventually we have too many trains queuing up for the station, and it's once again going to cause some trouble for this smaller track which intersects the larger track. So as you can see, we have too many trains queuing up to go to the train station. This is causing those trains to block the track over a smaller track, which makes the trains on our smaller track have to wait for the other trains to move before they can move through different intersections. This might work, but it's not really optimal, and Create has a really easy solution which allows us to solve this problem. So first we'll go ahead and add a few more signals. Basically our goal here is that we want the train to stop right before the intersection, but we don't want it to stop like this inside the intersection. So what we can do is we can right click with our wrench on the signal, and now you can see we have these like brass corners on the train signal, and that makes it so that the train will only go through the intersection if the next signal is also clear. So we can do the same thing over here. I'll place the train signal, just like normal, put the Nixie tube on top, and then I'm going to right click with the wrench to make the brass corners. You can right click again to change it back to normal. And I'm going to go ahead and do this for all the signals for both the larger train line and the small one. And hopefully by doing this, we'll clear up our congestion even more. I'll go ahead and speed up the video a little bit, but hopefully you'll see that trains are no longer going to be blocking the intersections and that everything is going to be functioning a bit more smoothly. The next thing we're going to look at is the train station over here. Basically what I have is 8 different trains with 5 different train stations. And as you can see, we have 3 different trains going to the first station, which is kind of creating a backup and causing all this congestion sometimes. So this is an issue that I actually ran into in my survival world when I started out with the Great mod. You would just have a train station that you kept adding more and more tracks to, and eventually it started congesting like this. Now, in this case, these are just passenger trains, so they all do the same thing. And each station here is a separate station. So you have main track 1, main track 2, main track 3, and so on. Now, what you may not know is that we can actually change the name of all of these train stations to the same name, and that will allow the trains to just pick whichever station is free. So I'll go ahead and do that now. I'm going to update the name of each station here. They're all going to be called main. And of course, changing the station name has also broken the schedule for all of my trains, so we need to quickly update our drivers with the new schedule. And in this case, we're just changing the old train station name to main, which is the name of all train stations on all 5 tracks at our main station. Now, once we've done that for all 5 trains, we can also go back and change our train signal back here to a chained signal. And this will make trains wait if all 5 lanes are full. And that will let our trains just pick whichever station is free because they're all the same station. They're all unloading the same goods, which is passengers in this case. And that's all we have to do to optimize our station. By having the same name for all 5 stations, we can also use a single display link to show all the statuses of all the trains coming into the station. So I just right click on the display board there, then I place the display link here, and we're going to be configuring it to show the train station summary. We'll make it use all lines available and the maximum size here. And it also starts from line 1. So as we've configured this now, you'll be able to see that the display board should show all incoming trains, when they're arriving, and where each one is going. After watching the trains for some time, I kind of noticed that we actually only need 4 tracks now. So we could technically get rid of 1 track or add another couple of trains to the large track system. Anyways, that's going to be all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a like. And if you want to see more of my videos, don't forget to subscribe. Now, if you've been watching some of my other videos, you know that I play on a survival server where we use the Create mod along with other tech mods to create some awesome builds. And Big Swedish has actually been progressing on his train track, and he made a pretty sweet looking bridge. So the other day he loaded up the schematic into the schematic cannon and we ran it for a while, and I was able to do a time lapse. So I'm throwing in the time lapse at the end of this video to give you something to see. I hope you enjoy it. And if you're interested in seeing more content like that, do check out my other videos to see more time lapses, also get schematics and much more.